Ahoy! New World had its 1-year anniversary yesterday, and with that a dev update. The dev update unfortunately brought a lot of repetition of information we already know and went very in-depth on stuff about Brimstone Sands that we already know, but there was a fair bit of new information as well. In this video I specifically want to talk about the things that we hadn't heard about before, so that you get all the new bits of that 1.5 hour talk. This starts with the update schedule. Initially, New World started with a monthly update schedule, but they realized that they had too many bugs doing that, and now they have spaced it out to roughly 2 months. What they want to do in the future is a little bit less in terms of content per update, but releases at a higher quality to avoid more mistakes, and also put things on the test realms, the PTR, earlier, which we are already kind of seeing with Brimstone Sands. They're also planning to, I quote, "stop the grind." They named a few examples here of things that are introduced with Brimstone Sands, like leveling through questing alone, or fast bulk crafting, and also things they've already done, like the expedition access without tuning orbs and the group finder, which by the way actually double the number of expedition runs being done. What they're also planning is to have some sort of a system in place for player surges to avoid long queues. They didn't really explain that further, but it sounds like it's gonna be something they have implemented and that we'll see with Brimstone Sands launching. The team's also working on various performance improvements to the client, the network, and also the combat, where they especially noted that large-scale combat is something they'd like to improve and make feel more fluid. They're planning to do more events in the future and also to improve the storytelling, which is something they're already working on and something we can see in Brimstone Sands as well. For example, through the use of multiple cinematics, which is something they like to continue. They also said that they want to do more group content for PvE and for PvP. They didn't specify the PvP part any further, so we only know that they want to do more. What they did say about PvP, specifically the 3v3 arena, is that they're planning to improve that further somehow and also separate the queues between solo queuing players and groups, which is going to be very interesting because at the moment, if you're queuing as a 3-man, it's almost a guaranteed win if you're competent and not running into another 3-man. Another topic that was touched upon are upcoming weapons, and they specifically mentioned daggers here. It was mentioned as a highly community requested weapon, and the release date is yet to be determined. So not really anything new on that front other than them also making a joke about a blow dart gun, which I don't think will be in the game. Another thing the team wants to do is lean more into solo activities. They say that currently there is not enough solo stuff to do in endgame especially, and that you will find the first opportunities in Brimstone already. Spoiler disclaimer, I'm going to show you what they're talking about, but this is part of the main story. If you don't want to get any spoilers for what's in the Brimstone Sands storyline, then make sure to skip to the time that I'm showing in the video right now, so that you stay spoiler free. Spoiler happening in 3, 2, 1. So, this is a new encounter that we have in Brimstone Sands, which is basically like an expedition. You enter it like an expedition through a menu that you have to select, that you're ready to go into this expedition, and then you're only met with this single boss. He isn't particularly difficult, and after beating him you're rewarded with a small amount of umbral shards as well as an elite chest. So us getting more solo content could mean more of those bosses in repeatable form, or maybe longer form dungeons that are designed to be cleared entirely on your own. There's more than just solo content. They say they are generally quite happy with the current state of the group content, or the small group content rather, but they would like to start working on raid content. They're looking at raid sizes of 10 to 20 players and they want to make things difficult. They said they want to make PvE content that is as hard and challenging as war, so you really have to optimize your gear for it. They also mentioned that there's a glimpse of something that's in the future regarding raid content that is visible in Brimstone Sands. If you enter Brimstone Sands, you will definitely see that yourself, so I don't even need to spoil this at all. So the first raid boss that we'll come across is already in the game, is already being teased to us, but we can't fight him yet. One of the most community requested features, gear sets, are still being worked towards, and I really hope that those happen sooner rather than later, because I think that's a major quality of life difference in late game, especially when you have many sets. On the topic of quality of life, they have also started working on mounts, but said those are still very far into the future, so we shouldn't expect them all too soon. And of course, fresh start servers were also mentioned. They said, "We hear the feedback on Fresh Start servers. We're gonna have something to talk about real soon." Now keep in mind that these dev updates are often recorded multiple weeks in advance, so them saying that then and making similar posts about it kinda coincides, so I would imagine that we're actually getting news very soon. They just weren't part of the dev update because the dev update wasn't recorded super recently. Now, as I said, other than that, they did a lot of talk about Brimstone Sands and the reworked starting experience. If you want to hear more about that from my side, I will have videos about that in the next days. That's what I'm working on at the moment, as well as a DPS breakdown of the Greatsword once XR finishes its work on that. So if you'd like to see any of that, please consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you get notified. Thanks for watching. Duke out.